Hi, and welcome to Dr. Mix. This is the album that put electronic music on the map. Worldwide success by the Kraftwerk in 1974. Look at it. How cool is that? Look at the Kraftwerk. They're so young right here. And look at this. How iconic is this? I love it. We are really gonna dig deep into this. The composition, the sounds, the state of mind, the amazing music of the Kraftwerk. Let's play it. Oh, if you haven't already, you should subscribe to this channel because I do this kind of videos quite often. You see? I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna clean the record and I'm gonna enjoy it with you. That's a synthesizer. All right, okay, let's unpack a little bit of stuff here. The car is real, I think. The horns are, of course, a synthesizer. And then you have this, well, primordial techno, if you wish. Nobody had done that up until that point. You know, we were used to, 70s, sort of singer-songwriter kind of stuff. And they come with a straight leg like this, through the door. Autobahn with a vocoder sounding like nothing that anyone had heard before. This is the first thing about the Kraftwerk, because the Kraftwerk always think of themselves as artists, but like sort of art gallery type of artists. In fact, that's where they used to play a lot at the time. Various things that you can do with music in life. Yeah, you if you're chasing fame, good luck, nothing against that. But the operation that here the Kraftwerk were doing was completely intellectual and artistic, right? Nobody in their sane mind would begin an album like that. I'm not sure if it's a good starter for a radio in 1974, and yet they did it. So what's interesting about the big synth sound that comes there is this. This is something that I've heard do a lot with guitar as well. It's basically using a delay, but it's so loud and it's so well timed that basically creates a repetition that is swinging. How that's done is you just play 8 notes. Dun, 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 dun. In this case, they played bum, 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 bum. And there's a delay. Basically, it's like 3/16 notes after, but it's slightly late in a way that makes it swing like this. See, if I play at this speed, it's straight, but if I play slightly faster, you get what's happening here? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3/16 notes, right? What a dotted 8 note. You happier? But if I play slightly faster, then that repetition comes a little bit late. If I explained this in this episode of Music Producer Gold Guide, where I explain the shuffle and the swing, what it means in terms of displacement. It just means that it arrives a little bit later. So if you just time it just right, the delay is gonna swing on you. You get it? I can't get over it, it's just vocoder, except they use white noise as a carrier. Carrier, that's it. Carrier and modulator. Modulator is the voice, carrier. Anyway, just in the first 30 seconds of the album, your life is basically changed forever. I haven't even reached 30 seconds. Sorry, there is so much to know. This is an album that I actually found out later. My entry point with the Kraftwerk was Men Machine, which is like 2 albums after, or maybe the album after. It swings so hard it hurts. Imagine you are on that Autobahn, which of course means freeway. You're really there, aren't you? All right, fun of the Autobahn. This is a clear and immediate reference to the Beach Boys. Fun. Because the Kraftwerk were big fans of the Beach Boys. They were good listeners, man. They would listen to a lot of stuff. And of course, they had this sort of desire of being ultra artistic and say something really powerful and really significant with music. So it's kind of funny that they quote, a surf track, which is like just fun, just enjoy California surfing and stuff, and they put it into an electronic context. Fun of the Autobahn, which is at the same time hilarious and genius. So Kraftwerk have this special ability to find melodies and musical concepts in the obvious. What do I mean by that? So they are capable of coming up with numbers where they just count from 1 to 10. Or a very simple phrase, I'm the operator with my pocket calculator. That's all there is to it. Just very simple concept. And the melody of Autobahn definitely reflects that. Let's analyze it. 4 notes. But then modulation. The Kraftwerk love their modulations. Simple melodies, lots of modulations. And now we go back, and no, actually we go to D major now. So we went from F to G to D. And now B flat, C, D. And we go back to F. Fun of the Autobahn. Fun of the Autobahn. Fun of the Autobahn. Fun of the Autobahn. basically all this melody is D, C, B, A. But they sort of compound it into this movement. You can keep going. They somehow always seem to be specular. How to say, symmetrical. Their progressions start somewhere, end up somewhere, and they always come back to the beginning. And somehow they make the same movement. It's a very classical idea, right? And people who know about composition right now recognize the motive, what I call melodic seed, that they managed to flower into existence throughout the record. But the melodies are really, really simple. Obviously, something that they really are trying to do on this record is to imitate the sound of cars with synthesizers. And that's not only cars, you will see at the end of it. Stay until the end, because what happens at the end of the record is pretty crazy. So they try to imitate sounds, and they also came up with this idea of using flanger or phaser, I think it's phaser, on the snare drum, right? Now you have to imagine that the kind of drums that they were probably using is stuff that they probably created or modified from instruments of the time, probably from the 60s, something like this. Wait, see, they used instruments like this. In fact, I think that they use exactly the Maestro Rhythm King somewhere in this album as well. But in any case, they would use this kind of sounds. Sometimes you could trigger sounds from the front. So what they would do is they would connect wires and trigger them with tinfoil pads. So that's pretty nuts, because these machines were really to comp yourself with an organ. They used it a lot differently. No? Put a little bit of an effect on the snare drum. Now we get theme number 2, because I don't know if you watched any of my previous deconstructions of vinyl records like this, but not only there is a strong classical music reference to all of this album, to the Kraftwerk in general, and to the movement of synthesizer music back in the 70s. But this album in particular is very cinematic, and it uses the same techniques that Jean-Michel Jarre would use, of pretty much writing one theme or two themes, like 2 melodies at the most, 3 for the whole album, and they keep on coming back in different forms. So now the Kraftwerk have expressed their first melody, and now they're going to present to you the second melody, and they're going to spin this melody round and round throughout the album. It's also a nice change of tempo. Maybe for the first few minutes we weren't exactly on the Autobahn, we were just going through the city. Now we are on the Autobahn. Hope I'm not distorting. See, it does feel symmetrical, like we know exactly what this is. So the melody actually is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Couldn't be any simpler, yet so memorable, isn't it? Hit that like if you think that this melody is memorable. Thank you. same melody, different instruments, different octaves, one chord. Woo! So let's talk just quickly about the drums. Here we have a change of pace and we have a change of section basically, because like most of this sort of prog music, electronic prog music, I would call, what style would you call this music? It's okay, it's electronic music, but I think it's like progressive music in that genre. So you have different sections, right? So this is section number 2, and the drums are really cool and very simple because, you know, bear in mind, they didn't have like the fancy drum machines and capabilities that we have today. These are just a few sounds that they managed to put together masterfully. Guitar, a little bit of a guitar improvisation. I can't remember if it's Florian or Ralph Hatter and Florian Schneider, the two founding members, as I understand it. One of them plays the flute, and pretty good flute as well, you know, which also conveys this sort of, you know, sort of bucolic, you know, sort of countryside morning dawn on Mother Nature, you know, with this flute. You know, it feels like an elf in the morning. Also, it does help this feeling of joy, the fact that it's major, very major. Good flute sound as well, very, you know, proper flutist. Filters are opening up on that synthesizer. All right, let me skip forward because they like to improvise a lot. So now they're going to go into a new section, but is it really new? The transition certainly is new. Let's listen to it. Now they have removed the big bass line. They're leaving the drums there. This is called a breakdown in house music. Bass is back. That was your drop. Are you happy? More improvisation. Switching up an octave, now we create tension, and now we go back down. So, you know, these are all techniques that are used in modern house music all the time. The idea of modifying the sound as it goes in order to create a new element, in order to catch your attention again. Because also what happens is when you listen to repetitive music like this, which is like a mantra, you know, like, you know, it's like you can listen to it forever, you can dance to it, you can flow with it, and it's repetitive. But what this repetition means is that anytime there is a small variation, then you get a renewed sense of interest in what's happening. And that is the ABC of dance music, electronic dance music, house music. Did you like the Buddhist reference? That was good, right? So now they are back to B flat, C, D, ta-da! And we go back to F, theoretically. Now we go back to the same rhythm as before. So we're section 3, we're using the same melodic material and the same world as the intro of it.
Fahren, fahren, fahren auf der Autobahn. Wir fahren, fahren, fahren auf der Autobahn. Wir fahren, fahren, fahren auf der Autobahn.
There's an interesting variation that should come anytime, right? Here.
Fahrbahn ist ein graues Band, weiße Streifen, grüner Rand.
I wish I knew what they said there. But it's different, isn't it? Now we're going to another breakdown, and this one is a bit nuts. What is this? Reggae dub? A lot of this is just noise, look. It's kind of angry right now. You don't know which is which, do you? Apparently they had a mini Moog, but I'm not sure if they had it at this point. Right? Oh. Yeah? This is something that I like to do. Sometimes I use this trick of, like when you use vibrato like this thick and you never leave it, basically it creates like a sense of unsettlement. It's like, I just think it's funny. Cars passing by. I mean, this is, you know, this panning work. This is not automation on Logic, pan from left to right. All the stuff that you're listening, they probably recorded it one by one onto multi-track, I guess. You know, it's like we have abandoned music now. Now we are in sound design, soundscape. It's a bit chaotic, this auto route. It's become a bit busy now. Woo! Can you imagine them, you know, at Kling Klang Studios with all these wires coming and they going, yeah, record that, yeah, press record, go! Now we have a nice drone pad. So we're coming back to normality, I guess. And this is only half of side 1. I'm not gonna take this long everywhere because I won't. Right? All right, and there they got their modulation. That modulation tells us always, hey, we're going to a different section now. And is that always the same? B flat, C, D major. Let's see. Portamentos. One. What do we have now? Go back to the beginning. You know, as a gigging musician back when I was working with pop music in Italy, I would tour a lot. You know, I was a relatively good driver compared to my bandmates anyway. So I would drive a lot. I don't think that there is anything more satisfactory than putting this record whilst you're driving. It really makes perfect sense. At the end of side A, we have the same theme really stretched out. Phaser everywhere. It's almost like a prayer. I don't know why I'm on this vibe today, but it feels like that, you know, like sort of celebration. All right. We are yet into another permutation of this few simple notes, right? Woo! Right. This reminds us of many things. Right. I think we can move on to side 2. This side is even weirder than the first. It really belongs in a contemporary art museum or something. You can easily see it, right? With just bubbles of blue color in slow motion. They love their phaser. They really love it. They put it everywhere. I agree, it's a great effect. Bunch of notes. Sorry for the distortion. So these are just all white notes. That's all they are doing. They're just literally hitting all the notes. Yeah. This could be a mini Moog, or maybe a Moog modular. I don't know. Do they say anything? Well, what they used? Oh, of course not. This was mystery, the mystery of Clink Clang. You wouldn't know anything about it. No notes, just the auto route. Right. It's like a whistle from outer space. Real piano. Hello. This reminds me a little bit of Tubular Bells. If you want me to do Tubular Bells, just write Tubular Bells. Have you done it? I'll check later. So half of side 2 goes on like this. Well, it's running out of steam. It's like... The next track is yet another evolution of the same theme. Have you ever heard of a simpler melody than this? It's basically chords. Right? So when you're composing melodies, you can be really, really simple, you know? It doesn't need to be complicated, and this is the living proof that it doesn't have to be complicated. Oh, no, no, no. D on bass. E. F. It's all in the delivery. Right? Listen, I'm gonna go towards the end of it because, in my opinion, something really interesting happens at the end. Let's just play the second last tune, which is another sort of soundscape madness. Slightly churchy. Ooh. Woo! What are they using? Theremins? They're certainly using lots of tape delay. There's no question about that. Noises through a... Maybe it's a spring reverb? No. Maybe it's a plate. Maybe it's a plate. They use this on My Machine as well. Ooh. Ooh. Oof. Right. So it gets crazier. You ready? Birds. They're trying to imitate birds. Is that recorder? Sounds like a maybe ocarina? No, recorder, maybe flute? I'm not sure. Water. See what I mean by bucolic? Water. Drops of rain. Gets better. Wait. The part that I like is when the frog comes out. See the frog? I love that bit. And then, after this madness, they close the record, reminding you the theme. Just a flute. cannons.